The last person I went to visit, I didn't find by reading his book. I saw his website. As I clicked through the pictures, I could hardly believe what I was seeing. Here were horses flying with invisible wings. This man, Alexander Nevzorov, a former war correspondent wounded in the line of duty, and a current governmental advisor, researcher, and historian, had found a way to be with horses who were free to express themselves in natural collection. When I read that he worked with the horses without using any punishment, force, or restrictions on the horses' heads, in complete liberty, something in me was shaken. How was that possible? That was when I knew Russia would be my next destination. Arriving in St. Petersburg, I was met by my guide and translator, Georgie. Georgie also happened to be a magazine photographer. We went to visit some of Alexander's students, and I saw them performing the beginning elements with patient and allowing attitudes, and horses who were always free to choose whether they wanted to participate. Our next stop was a Russian trail competition. The struggles between horse and rider could not have been more different than what I saw from Alexander's students. When we got back to Georgie's flat, he showed me some of the photographs he took for the Nevzorov Hotekol magazine. His job is to photograph the abuse that goes on in the horse world. His precise timing had captured the moments that are overlooked by those who think that these signs of resistance are an inevitable and even necessary part of working with horses in order to make them cooperate and bend to our will. When I saw these pictures, I saw myself in them. I saw the fear of loss of control. As hard as it was to look at and admit, I realized that it was a world I had become a part of. The horses were different, but the same pain was echoed over and over again. That was the point when I knew I had to break from it completely. On my last day in Russia, I finally met Alexander and asked him what could be done. As he spoke, all of the voices I had heard along this path started to speak as one.
When we come to a horse, we have to first completely take in account the physiological impression of our effect on her. We are mammals. We are all physiological beings. You're listening to me with very big interest. But if, right now, we put in your pocket some burning coal, no matter how interesting I am, you will be running, screaming, and jumping around your camera, but not listening to me. Everything in us, mammals, has a great dependency on physiological feelings. And the art of speaking horse language is firstly a skill to not cause her physiological discomfort or pain. We did study together with physiologists, with vets, and forensic scientists on the effect of bits on the horse's mouth. It was found out that the effect of the bits with a jerking force exceeds 300 kilograms per square centimeter, with the typical pull being 80 to 150 kilogram per square centimeter. All of these experiments were documented and signed by the very best Russian experts. In the past, people didn't know what they are doing. Trainers, professional riders, they would say, "It's all right. Look how big the horse is. You can't hurt her. It's not that painful for her." But actually, these devices act on a very small area of the horse's head, and it's all wired with nerves, which can generate a hell of a lot of pain. Those who want to know about it, they can, but they still keep on doing it. They want to have fun. Besides that, there were scientific, physiological experiments carried out on the tissue of horse's back. Although myology and muscle construction is almost the same with everyone, there are nuances. There are differences in innervation and thickness of muscle tissue, of course, but the compression of muscle and the trauma that it's done to the muscle, it's almost the same for every single mammal. By some difficult experiments, it was identified that the main muscles of the horse's back react without pain to the weight of the rider for the first 12 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes at the longest. After 15 minutes, feelings of discomfort begin. Microcirculation gets compromised, and within 20 minutes we get symptoms similar to what you would get in your leg when you sit on it for long enough in an awkward position. It's a signal of serious violation of circulation. Within 20-25 minutes we get anemia and strong destructive processes in the muscle itself that are quite dramatic from the point of view of physiology.
The information was startling. How could I have studied horses for so many years and not realize what was going on physiologically? I started to look for confirmation of this research. I talked to a veterinarian who is an expert in ultrasound. Her reports show that in nearly all of the horses pre-screened for back injuries, ultrasound revealed significant damage to the structures of the back. I looked at thermograms, which showed areas of inflammation in the backs of horses who were ridden. I looked in veterinary texts and journals and saw that even with the best fitted saddle, the pressure of the rider and the tightened girth was well beyond what the horse's back tissue could carry without compromised circulation and pain, beginning after only a few minutes. I now understood the necessity of bits and other devices to control the horse's head. They provide a way for the rider to offer the horse a choice. Either the horse can do what the rider demands, or they face the greater pain of a tug in their mouth or on their head, a bony area covered with thin skin and a network of sensitive nerves. Even horses who have been trained to go bridleless, if they were trained with a bridle, they have learned that the consequences of disobeying the rider's requests will be far worse than accepting the discomfort in their back, which soon enough will go numb. I went to a few local horse shows and started looking with new eyes. I would never dream of inflicting this kind of pain on a human, or even a dog or a cat. What made it okay to do this to a horse? Now that I had seen what could be accomplished without punishment or force, I could no longer call this training. I had to call it abuse. The requirements for working with Alexander were to give up bits, competitions, and anything that wasn't in the horse's best interest, including riding for at least a year, in order to develop the relationship on the ground and to allow the horse's back time to heal. Letting go of bits and competitions was relatively easy once I opened my eyes and saw what was going on. But to give up riding? Looking at his horses, there was no denying that he had found a different way. I realized I could never have a true partnership with my horses if I was unwilling to give up control through pain. If I was going to continue along this path, it would have to be on my own 2 feet.
The truth is that all of the confrontation between us and the sportsman, it fits into one small phrase. We know and believe that the horse is absolutely conscious, that she has amazing intelligence, but others don't believe it. That's where the bits and bozal and hackamore arise, and people have a relationship with the horse like she's a scary, mysterious, living piece of meat which you can use for your own pleasures.